Cadbury is one of the UK's most loved brands. Well, maybe not so much these days since it went into American ownership, but it's still seen by many as a symbol of Britain, particularly American YouTubers. In this video, we're looking at the international scope of Cadbury, because while it feels quintessentially British, quite a few of its famous products were actually invented elsewhere, including the iconic Freddo. If this is the kind of highly intellectual content you enjoy, please like the video, subscribe to the channel and press the bell, as it really helps the channel grow. Cadbury set up shop in 1824 in the United Kingdom's second largest city, Birmingham, famous for the likes of Alison Hammond, Julie Walters, J.R.R. Tolkien, and perhaps most famously of all, Adrian Chiles. The company was founded by John Cadbury, a member of the Quaker movement, selling tea, coffee and drinking chocolate initially. The business stayed in the family, and it was his sons, Richard and George, who shaped what we now think of as Cadbury. George Cadbury built Bournville, a model village designed to give workers better living conditions, and in 1905 introduced Dairy Milk, a chocolate with far more milk than its rivals. By 1914, it was Cadbury's best-selling product. As the company grew, it expanded across the now defunct British Empire, setting up in many Commonwealth countries, where British tastes and trade links already existed, such as Canada, India, New Zealand and Australia. This turned Cadbury from a British chocolate maker into a global brand, while still heavily trading on its British identity. Australia became one of the most important of those markets. Exports to Australia began as early as the 1850s, and yes, they probably used a bigger boat than this. By the early 1920s, Cadbury decided to build a full-scale factory there to meet demand and avoid import tariffs. That factory opened in Claremont, Tasmania, modelled directly on Bournville, complete with staff housing and recreational facilities. It was a deliberate attempt to recreate the factory in a garden vision, just with better weather. And speaking of which, Cadbury chocolate in Australia is actually made differently, with a slightly altered recipe so it doesn't melt as easily in warmer temperatures. So Cadbury was already manufacturing chocolate in Australia for many years, and they expanded in 1967 when Cadbury acquired MacRobertson's, Australia's biggest confectionery business. Founded in 1880 by Robertson, MacRobertson's had built its own chocolate culture and its own products, many of which Cadbury simply absorbed into the wider brand. And this is where Freddo comes in. Freddo was created by British-born Aussie confectioner Harry Melbourne and produced by MacRobertson's in the 1930s in Australia. This is the original design. Obviously, at some point Freddo decided it was rude to show his back to the public when they're about to consume him. When Cadbury brought MacRobertson's, Freddo came with it. It later arrived in the UK in 1974, priced at just 2p. It did well, but apparently not well enough, because Cadbury quietly dropped it in 1979 before relaunching it in 1994 at a now famous fixed price point, which it was at for many years, of 10p. And that fixed price is what turned Freddo into shorthand for inflation and shrinkflation. Products getting smaller while prices stay the same. Over the years, Freddo has shrunk, the price has risen, or sometimes both, turning a children's chocolate bar into a symbol of creeping everyday costs, including, most shockingly, a branch of W.H. Smith, I think at a railway station, so we don't have to pretend it's called T.S. Jones or whatever it's meant to be these days, selling a Freddo for a massive £1. Its whole raison d'etre was being small and cheap, so it's hard not to notice that the bar is now even smaller, but not as cheap. Australians are rightly protective of their chocolate frog. Harry Melbourne's daughter, Leonie Wandin, said her father would roll over in his grave if he could see it now. He'd be disgusted. It was a penny chocolate, and also said since her dad died, I haven't bought a Freddo. And the Australian people were further outraged in 2023 when they became aware of a redesign in the UK which made it look like Cadbury had tried to kill off Freddo, with the character now appearing to be trapped in a coffin. What's interesting is that Australia often feels like the closest cousin to the UK and Ireland in terms of Cadbury and confectionery as a whole, at least compared to the US or mainland Europe. And maybe it's just perception, but does seem to do variations on the old classics better. Take this Freddo ad as an example.
He's my hero. Freddo's fantastic, and now there's new rainbow chip too.
And you'll often see multiple flavours, playful variations, and products that disappeared from the UK years ago. Brands like Marble and Dream were discontinued in the UK, but survived for years, even decades in Australia. Although Dream has pretty much returned to the UK, just with the more obvious name of Cadbury White. The UK's closest neighbour, Ireland, is another example, with its own history and relationship with the Cadbury brand. They gave the rest of the Cadbury consuming world twirl, probably as compensation for Louis Walsh, and it's still where twirl sold in the UK is usually produced. It also maintains local production of dairy milk, sold domestically, rather than importing from the UK or one of the Mondelez factories in Europe. Canada, South Africa and India each developed their own Cadbury identities too, often with unique products that never crossed over. Take this from Canada, or this from India.
Silkia, Cadbury Dairy Milk Silk.
And then there's the United States, where Cadbury is mostly seen as a novelty brand outside of Easter. It's something you buy in the international aisle rather than part of everyday chocolate culture. Cadbury's isn't actually made by Cadbury's in the US, it's made by Hershey under license. Like most American chocolate, it's apparently not great. But yes, cream eggs, or as they often just say, Cadbury eggs, are a big deal there. They even run TV ads with a Cadbury bunny.
No bunny knows Easter better than Cadbury.
Not something that would work in the UK because Brits already had its own bunny, voiced by Rory Sutherland, and she has eyes only for caramel, which is also known as caramello in most of the Cadbury eating world, including next door in Ireland. So while Americans and most Brits think of Cadbury as quintessentially British, it's a global brand with its own products and history in each of the markets it expanded to. Freddo might feel British, but its roots are unmistakably Australian, and that's true of a few Cadbury products. Let us know in the comments what your favourite Cadbury product is, and let us know if you think the taste has changed over the years. Cheaper ingredients, different recipes, or is it just the shape of dairy milk playing tricks on us, as some, Cadbury themselves and Miriam Margolyes claim. If you would like to see more of these kind of videos, if you could subscribe and ring the bell, it would help the channel. And please like the video if indeed you did.